What's going on, y'all? True Results. In this video right here, we're going to be going over three things. In 1996, the top member of a gang known as the Vicelords by the name of Big Country allegedly ordered a hit on a correctional officer working in 201 Poplar. And that correctional officer by the name of Dedrick Taylor, after he got off his shift at 10 p.m., went home and got assassinated. That's one thing. Another top-ranking member of the Vicelords gang by the name of Big Pokey, government name Ronald Terry, took the stand and told the infrastructure of the Vicelords, which I would think that would be top secret now for the court to know, was murdered. Him and his girlfriend in Whitehaven. And then they put the prisoners on lockdown because of his rank. And I think two factions of the Vicelords, the reason why they put the statewide prisons on lockdown because it was alleged that another faction of the Vicelords was responsible for the death of Big Pokey. And we're going to be reading some paperwork and so that y'all can put two and two together. And then last but not least, Finesse2tymes. We got some information coming from somebody that was locked up with him that knows all of his secrets about how he was treated when he was locked up, how he got kicked out the gang, switched gangs. We finna get into all of that. So with no further ado, True Results. Salute to everybody. At the end of the video, like, share, subscribe, and always support if you can. Stay safe, stay true, and stay blessed. And if you wish to donate to the channel, cash out will be $sign True Results #2. All donations are appreciated. And let's get into it. True. All right, Finesse2tymes. Somebody is telling us your little secrets. You can confirm or deny. Somebody that was locked up with you, and you can tell they telling the truth. So let's see how you did your time. Now he's starting with what this video, one of the segments of this video was about. Big Pokey that got killed, him and his girlfriend, high-ranking member of the Vicelords, one set of the Vicelords. Let's read. And it's Big Pokey, but when he came south, now Big Pokey is from Chicago, the land, as they say. Came to Memphis to organize the Vicelords, a set. And it's Big Pokey, but when he came south, we call him Pokey. I was at West High with Pokey, and if you know, you know that bro had the whole prison on lock. He walked the compound like the warden, bro. Had 3-4 little gals working as guards and counselors that was bringing him everything. And Unit 11 was known as Ghost Town because if you wasn't Ghost, Pokey wouldn't allow you to be in the unit with him. Dude was an animal. Speaking of Finesse2tymes, Lil YB, Debo, Lil Ricky, whatever bro go by now was under Big Pokey when bro was UVL. Talk about Finesse2tymes. I was at Hardeman County in the same part as Finesse2tymes when Pokey called from Florida. If you know, you know that TDOC sent Big Country to Arkansas and sent Pokey to Florida from Hardeman County. That's a whole different episode for you there, family. But Big Pokey called and told Lil Woo, you know who Lil Woo is, Finesse2tymes? Because we got more. This is just don't lie now. But Big Pokey called and told Lil Woo to push Finesse2tymes to the back which in our language means kick his ass and send him to PC. But I fucked with Finesse2tymes, and me and bro was smoking and rapping partners back then. So I gave bro the hold that thought. What you gave bro? What you told Finesse2tymes? I fucked with Finesse2tymes, and me and bro was smoking and rapping partners back then. So I gave bro the heads up, and he ended up checking in PC that night before the doors opened for dinner. All right, Finesse2tymes. Finesse2tymes was giving out bogus green dot numbers to numerous people and different gangs, causing a war to almost happen. That was the whole. Did Finesse2tymes check in, and why? So basically what he's saying, Finesse2tymes was in there scamming people, giving out bogus green dot numbers. Green dot numbers, it's a way to move currency. If you know, you know. And Finesse2tymes was in there giving out fake green, bogus green dot numbers and scamming people. And he was giving them out to different gangs, almost causing a gang war. And he checked himself in the hole to avoid getting dealt with. Now, Finesse2tymes is a conservative. He say now Finesse2tymes is a conservative Vicelord. So he flipped sets. Regardless, niggas can say what they want to, but I watched bro make killers cook his food, slap them niggas, and all my brother do was the real deal. And he walks straight legged. He talking about Big Pokey, not Finesse2tymes. He was one of the ones, my guy. I walked amongst them. If you can't say that brother, please put some respect on his name. Yeah. So we got that established. Finesse2tymes, you was in there scamming, you flip sets, and then you check yourself in the PC. So you snitched on your damn self. Now who else would you snitch on for? I ain't never seen a nigga that snitch on himself, shit. If you snitch on yourself, you snitch on anybody, shit. Ain't that the rules? True. And then we got more, too. You think we ain't reach out? Oh, yeah, we got it. Let's turn up. True.
Airport Thursday afternoon. Sitting inside, officers say they found a woman, Candid Sanders, and a man, Ronald Terry, both shot to death.
There's a homicide investigation still pending with regard to his death, so I can't comment on that.
Shelby County Assistant District Attorney Paul Hagerman knew Terry. He was one of the prosecutors when Terry, or who many knew as Big Pokey, went to trial in 2006 for trying to kill a fellow gang member he thought betrayed him.
During the trial, there was testimony that he was a leader of the Vicelords here in Memphis, that he had come from Memphis from Chicago and from Illinois to help organize and lead the Vicelords here in Memphis.
Other witnesses confirmed Terry's high-ranking role.
He had about a 17-year sentence. He probably served about 11 years of that sentence until he was released fairly recently.
Police are now trying to figure out what led to his murder. What's clear, hours after, the Tennessee Department of Corrections locked down every prison in the state due to information received from external law enforcement partners. They said it was out of an abundance of caution and for the safety and security of the department's inmate staff and facilities. As of today, only one facility in East Tennessee remains on partial lockdown. A private prison in Clifton has also been on lockdown since last Thursday, when a spokesperson said there was 2 separate inmate-on-inmate assaults and 4 correctional officers were injured while trying to break it up. The state is now investigating what caused those fights.
There is something circulating out there.
Memphis Police Association President Mike Williams also voiced his concerns to WREG this week after rumors spread on social media the Vicelords threatened to put a hit out on law enforcement. As of now, the Tennessee Department of Corrections told us they are unaware of any specific and/or credible threats. And we've also learned that the TBI, they sent out a safety alert to all law enforcement across the state late last week. They say that they were asked to do that due to an ongoing investigation, but it wasn't because of a particular threat. Now, we're going to continue to...
A man shot and killed last week was a former self-confessed gang leader who exposed the inner workings of the Vicelords during a high-profile 2006 trial. WMC Action News 5's Ariana Poindexter is live now with what else she's uncovered about this. Ariana.
Kanji, a source close to the investigation, confirms the same Ronald Terry killed in Thursday's shooting has ties to the gang.
Law enforcement sources say a man found shot to death last Thursday is the former local kingpin of the nationwide Vicelord street gang. Memphis police confirmed 49-year-old Ronald Terry and another woman were found dead in a car parked near the intersection of Imogene Street and Dwight Road. In 2006, Terry was on trial, charged with the attempted murder of another Vicelord member. Midway through closing arguments, Terry changed his plea, admitting to the crime, but before doing so, gave jurors a detailed look at the Vicelord's organization.
They form a committee from each branch. They're what make up the nation, not no one person.
Terry served time in prison and was released at the end of his sentence in 2016. One day after Terry's death, a warning from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was broadcast on the Memphis police scanners regarding the Vicelords and the potential threat to local law enforcement. We asked whether or not the warning was connected to Terry's death. The TBI referred us to a statement sent last week saying, quote, "We were requested to provide a situational awareness message to law enforcement agencies for general officer safety. There is no specific threat. Because the message was requested by another agency as part of ongoing investigative efforts, we are not able to provide any other specifics."
And regarding the homicide investigation, Memphis police say it is still ongoing.
This is in retaliation for the murder of Ronald Terry, a.k.a. Big Pokey, a.k.a. Big Porky, high-ranking gang member, leader of the Vicelords, one faction of the Vicelords. State of Tennessee versus Jacoby Lamont Snipes. Let's get into the details. One count of attempted first-degree murder, aggravated assault, and employing a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, and 2 counts of gang enhancement. Right? At the February 26, 2020 trial, Lloyd Springwell, the owner of Affordable Funerals and Cremation Services at 116 Allen Avenue in Jackson, testified that he had 5 security cameras around the property. He provided the police a copy of the video footage from January 10, 2019. Same as Samuel Nasir, owner of Hayes Food Express. He had 16 cameras, and he provided the footage. Same as James Duncan, Finesse, Enterprise Rental Car in Jackson. He's testified that Jermaine Tipler rented a Chevrolet Malibu in December 2018 and exchanged their vehicle for a Chevrolet Silverado on January 10th, the day of the incident. On January 11th, Mr. Tipler exchanged the Silverado for a Nissan Rogue the very next day. Darren Harris, the victim in this case, testified that the defendant shot him on January 10, 2019. He acknowledged that at that time, he was a member of the unknown Vicelord set of the Vicelord street gang. The unknown Vicelords were also known as the Ghost Mob Vicelords. Ghost Mob. Mr. Harris said that he had been affiliated with the gang for approximately 10 years before the shooting. Mr. Harris testified that Big Pokey was the leader of the Ghost Mob. Mr. Harris was a friend of Big Pokey and looked up to and admired him. Leading up to January 10, 2019, Mr. Harris had determined that it was time for me to leave the Ghost Mob because I wanted my life back, noting that it had been just too much of my life that I had given away. He also said that he did not want his affiliation with the gang to end up trickling down to his kids. As he considered leaving the Ghost Mob, Mr. Harris began associating with the traveling Vicelords, Travelers, another set of the Vicelord gang, and the gang with which his brother had been a member. Mr. Harris told Big Pokey that he wanted to leave the Ghost Mob, and Big Pokey was okay with his choice. On January 10, 2019, Mr. Harris worked his job at Captain D's, and when his shift ended, he received a text message from an unknown number saying that Big Pokey had got killed. Mr. Harris called the number, and the person who answered identified himself as Twin Gotti, another member of the Ghost Mob, and Mr. Harris asked him whether Big Pokey was actually killed. Twin Gotti told him to read the text, stating, "It's what it said." Mr. Harris said that he asked Twin Gotti what had happened to Big Pokey, to which Twin Gotti replied, "All we've been told is if you're not Ghost, then you gotta get it." Mr. Harris took the statement to be a threat, and scared for his life, he took his daughter away from his apartment and took her to her mother, Jaden Moses. He also began looking for me a gun to protect myself. While driving his daughter to Mrs. Moses' house, Mr. Harris passed Mr. Tipler, who was driving a red Chevy Silverado. Mr. Harris knew Mr. Tipler, who went by the nickname Ghost Man. So we're going to call him Ghost Man from this point on, to be a member of the Ghost Mob. The men stopped in the middle of the street with their driver's side doors facing each other and talked about Big Pokey's death. The defendant, whom Mr. Harris knew to be a member of the Ghost Mob, was in the vehicle with Ghost Man. At the end of the conversation, Mr. Tipler said to Mr. Harris, "I heard that you converted," which term Mr. Harris explained was used to indicate a change in gang affiliation, meaning that they used to call them transformers. He switched sides. Mr. Harris said that he had not told Mr. Tipler, Ghost Man said that he had not told Mr. Tipler about his, let's go back. Mr. Harris said that he had not told Mr. Tipler about his intention to leave the Ghost Mob or affiliate with the Travelers. Mr. Harris denied to Mr. Tipler that he had converted because I felt like I had got threatened anyway, because what he said to me was that the Travelers was supposed to have killed Big Pokey. See, make sure y'all keep that out. So they blame Big Pokey's death on another set of the Vicelords. Now he trying to say that I'm Travelers. So that means you're gonna want to do something to me. Mr. Tipler turned his truck around so that the defendant, who was in the passenger seat, was facing Mr. Harris. The men did not say anything else, but the defendant turned to look at Mr. Tipler and said something, and they pulled off after that. Mr. Harris could not hear what the men said to each other. Mr. Harris dropped his daughter off at his baby mama house, and as he was driving, he saw the same red Silverado truck following him everywhere I went for at least an hour. Mr. Harris drove to an apartment complex off F.E. Wright Drive, where he talked with a friend, also a member of the Ghost Mob, for 20 to 30 minutes. The Silverado did not follow him into the apartment complex. After running another hour, Mr. Harris went to Hayes Food Express, and Mr. Tipler and the defendant pulled right up beside me in the red Silverado. At that time, the defendant's sister, Braxton Snipes, was driving the truck. Mr. Tipler was in the passenger seat, and the defendant was in the back. Mr. Tipler came over to my car and talked to me. He was like halfway in my car, but he didn't fully get in and close the door. He wanted to know, did I have a gun on me? Mr. Tipler indicated that certain members of the Crips gang were in Mr. Harris's neighborhood, and that he didn't want nothing to happen to me. Mr. Harris told him that he did not have a gun, and Mr. Tipler told the defendant to secure me to my house. The defendant got into Mr. Harris's car and told Mr. Harris that he wanted to play Madden at my house. Mr. Harris said that he and the defendant had played Madden before and that it was not an unusual request. Boy, you ain't see the setup. Mr. Harris drove the defendant to Mr. Harris's apartment at 124 Allen Avenue in Jackson. Mr. Harris walked into his apartment and the defendant followed behind him. Mr. Harris heard the defendant say, "I got you now, nigga." Mr. Harris remembered feeling heat on the side of his face, and as he bent down with his hands on his knees, he noticed that he couldn't open his right eye. Mr. Harris realized that he had been shot. Mr. Harris said that he had no memory beyond that point, but assumed that he had lost consciousness. But I just kept moving, based on the trail of blood in his apartment, leading from the back door to the upstairs. The next thing Mr. Harris remembered was waking up 5 days later at Regional 1 Hospital in Memphis. He said that one bullet entered near his eye and exited through his forehead, causing an orbital fracture, and that as a result, he was blind in his right eye. He was also shot in his head, neck, back, arms, legs, and dick. Although Mr. Harris could not remember what had happened to him when he first woke up, over time his memory returned. He said that initially he did not tell the police what he remembered because he intended to get revenge on the defendant. However, because he had decided to turn his life in the right direction, he eventually told the police what he remembered. Mr. Harris acknowledged that he was incarcerated at the time of the trial for driving on a revoked or suspended license, and said that before the trial began, Mr. Harris saw the defendant, who had said to him, "I did that." Damn. During cross-examination, Mr. Harris testified that the defendant had spoken to him when they were each being escorted through the jail. He said that the defendant smiled, looked at him, and touched his forehead and said, "I did that to you." Mr. Harris denied that he was affiliated with any gang at the time of the trial. He said that he had told his brother about his intention of leaving the gang, and that his brother did not take issue with his decision because you can't be forced to be anything. If I wake up one day and say, "I'm done being a vice lord," that's my right. He speculated that the defendant shot him because, from what I understand, it was a rumor started that I converted from one set to another. He believed that the incident was related to the shooting death of Big Pokey. He explained that because it was rumored that Big Pokey was killed by the Travelers, and because Mr. Harris was rumored to have converted to the Travelers, the Ghost Mob had him shot because he was an easy target for revenge. Mr. Harris said that on the day of the shooting, he saw two men that he knew as Lil Charles and Twin Gotti at the Captain D's where Mr. Harris worked. That was the first time that he had met Twin Gotti, and they exchanged telephone numbers, but Mr. Harris did not save Twin Gotti's number on his cell phone. Mr. Harris left his shift at Captain D's between 12 and 1, at which point he looked into having his daughter enrolled in daycare and then went home and did laundry. Later that day, Mr. Harris received a text message about Big Pokey's death from an unknown number. He called the number, which he learned belonged to Twin Gotti. During that call, Twin Gotti told him, "If you're not Ghost, you got to get it." Mr. Harris asked to speak to Lil Charles, who told him, "Man, bro, I can't even talk," and hung up. Based on that telephone call, Mr. Harris believed that he was in danger and had to hurry up and get his daughter away from there. He believed that he was being targeted as revenge by the Ghost Mob for Big Pokey's death. And this is basically the rest of it. Mr. Harris said that he saw Mr. Tippler driving the red Silverado at approximately 3:30 or 4 on January 10th as he was driving his daughter to his baby mama house. He acknowledged that he honked his horn to get Mr. Tippler's attention. Mr. Harris said that when he noticed later that the red Silverado was following him, he drove to the home of a man known as 50, also a member of the Ghost Mob, to see what they gonna do. Was they gonna follow him over there? The truck did not follow him, and he left 50's house approximately a half hour later. He said he drove to a friend's house and then the Hayes Food Expressway saw the Silverado. He said that the truck was already at the store when he arrived. He denied that he invited the defendant to his house, saying he was told to ride with me. Mr. Harris acknowledged that other members of his family had suspected that he had been shot by Mr. Moses, but he dismissed that suspicion, stating, "Miss Moses," stating she don't even touch guns. Mr. Harris denied that he knew anyone named Destiny Cole or Jada Banks. And that's basically it. The rest of it is when they found him. And y'all can read that so that we can get into the next part of this video. I'm just going to scroll up. And in case anybody want to read, you can pause it and read the rest of it. Those are basically the facts. And There you go. Right there. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there, but I don't want to draw this video out, so I'm just going to scroll, and y'all can pause it and read the whole thing. And almost finished. So there y'all go. Basically, that's it. Now let's get into the second half. True. Right. The murder of Sergeant Dedrick Taylor, a correctional officer working at Shelby County Jail, State of Tennessee, versus Charles Thompson, known as Country, and Varico Jackson. These are the facts of the case of the murder of Dedrick Taylor. On October 31st, 1996, a Shelby County grand jury indicted Charles Thompson, Country, and Varico Jackson for first-degree murder. Later, they were indicted for conspiracy to commit murder. Following the jury trial, both the defendants were convicted on both counts. Right? Charles Thompson, Country, received life without parole, and Varico Jackson got life. Let's get into the facts of the case. Factual background. In 1996, Charles Thompson, Country, leader of Charles Country. Charles Thompson, Charles Country Thompson. I'm going to get it, y'all. 1996, we're going to call him Country from this point. And Varico Jackson were both high-ranking members of a gang called the Traveling Vicelords. On April the 19th, 1996, Country was incarcerated in the Shelby County Justice Center, 201 Poplar, where he had a verbal altercation with a Sergeant Dedrick Taylor, a Justice Center employee, a CO. Following that altercation, Country telephoned Varico Jackson at a local apartment and told Jackson that he wanted Sergeant Taylor killed and that he wanted to see news of the killing on television the next morning. Jackson then related that conversation to other members of the gang who were present in the apartment. Jackson and the other members of the gang armed themselves and left the apartment. They walked toward the street on which Sergeant Taylor and his wife lived. Jackson then told the other gang members to kill Sergeant Taylor. Shortly thereafter, Sergeant Taylor pulled into his driveway where he was shot several times. His wife heard gunshots but did not see who shot Sergeant Taylor. Sergeant Taylor died from the gunshot wounds. Margaretta Dawson, a woman who was with the gang members early in the evening, heard gunshots coming from the area of Sergeant Taylor's house. Immediately after hearing the shots, she saw all of the gang members run and jump into a car and drive away. She then returned to the apartment that Country had found earlier. There she found Jackson and the other gang members. They all watched the local news and saw a report about the shooting of Sergeant Taylor. When the news report aired, Jackson and the other gang members celebrated and made gang signs to one another. The defendants were charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. As we said, they was convicted on both counts. Let's get into the more circumstances, right? Starting right here. I mean, not circumstances, evidence. The evidence in this case was sufficient to support an inference that Country ordered Varico Jackson to kill Sergeant Taylor, and that Varico Jackson carried out their order through subordinate members of the Traveling Vicelords. Charles Taylor, an inmate, testified that Sergeant Taylor and Country had a verbal altercation. He further testified that he heard Country telephone someone and ask for Varico Jackson. Mr. Taylor overheard Country say that he wanted Sergeant Taylor killed and that he wanted to see evidence of the killing on the news the next morning. Margaretta Dawson testified that she was visiting an apartment where Varico Jackson was on April 19, 1996, and that Jackson got a phone call between 7 and 7:30 that evening. Jackson took the phone in another room to take the call. After Jackson got off the phone, he and several other gang members in the apartment began loading weapons. Robert Meyer, a specialist in charge of the inmate telephone system, testified that a phone call was made from jail pod 4F to the apartment in question at 7:32. Charles Golden, a member of the traveling Vicelord, testified that he was at the apartment with Jackson the night of the crime. He said that Jackson told him, Golden, about the altercation between Country and the victim and that no one could do that to his chief, meaning that ain't nobody gonna mess with Country. Golden said that when the other gang members said that they should kill the victim, Jackson replied, "That's what we gonna do." Golden, Jackson, and two other men walked to a local nightclub nearby. Jackson stayed in the club while Golden and the two other men found and fatally shot Sergeant Taylor. Mr. Golden testified that he shot a .38 caliber that night. Alfonso Fleming testified that approximately April 25th or 26th, Charles Golden asked him to hold a .38 caliber gun. Mr. Fleming hid the gun in a closet until police came and confiscated it. This is the TBI testified that all 19 shell casings recovered at the scene of the murder were fired from the weapon discovered in Mr. Fleming's closet. Hold up. .38 caliber gun. 19 shell casings. Fired from the weapon. 38? Something ain't right. And that several bullet fragments could have been fired from that gun. He should be fired. Finally, Marcus Daniels, another gang member, testified that Country was a ruling member of the gang and that others had to abide by his orders. The evidence was clearly sufficient to support the jury's verdict. All right then. So all of that is something that y'all can read. Mr. Bonds and the others left the apartment. Miss Dawson told the jury that she overheard Mr. Jackson tell Mr. Golden that they were fixing to go over here and take care of their business. But Rico Jackson went into the bar, but others remained outside. At some point, Rory Haywood told Miss Dawson to tell them when it was 10 o'clock. They want to wait on the news. Before Miss Dawson could tell them it was 10, however, Mr. Golden, Mr. Cummins, and Mr. Haywood left on foot towards the victim's house. Now, that's when he got out work, the officers on their shift, 2 to 10, 10 to 6, and 6 to 2. So they were waiting on him to get home. Mr. Barnes also left, but he went in another direction. After that, Miss Dawson started walking towards her friend's house when she heard several gunshots. Following the gunshots, Miss Dawson saw Mr. Golden, Mr. Cummins, and Mr. Haywood all running from the direction of the shots. They all jumped in Mr. Cummins' car, and Rico Jackson jumped in with them. The four men drove back to the apartment, while Miss Dawson and Mr. Barnes walked back to the apartment. Sometime after they all returned to the apartment, the local television news reported that Sergeant Taylor had been shot. Miss Dawson testified that when the men in the apartment heard the news, they all began to celebrate. And Mr. Jackson told Mr. Golden, Mr. Cummins, and Mr. Haywood that they took care of business. Robert Meyer and Tom Maupin also corroborated the testimony of Charles Golden and Charles Taylor. And that is basically what happened to Sergeant Taylor. And I'm going to scroll down here so that y'all can read all of this real quick. And then we're going to get on Finesse2tymes and see what somebody that knows his secrets in jail has to say about him. Y'all, I'm just going to do this right quick. And there y'all go. True, let's get it. Finesse2tymes, you up next.